Good morning everyone, good afternoon, it's almost noon, so I suppose I should say good afternoon. It's Friday, the, I don't know what the date is, but it's September 2021, and I'm off on a run. I haven't been running for a few days just because I've been procrastinating, complain about it's too hot, too cold, too twisty, too twirly, whatever excuses you have for not doing it. I've had all of them. But I got fed up with not having excuses and just decided I would go. So, if you've seen my running videos before, you know what you see is a pair of hands moving up and down and somewhat disembodied voice talking to you about running. Mainly talking to you about the places I'm running, things I see on the way and so on. At the moment, I'm running through Victoria Park, where many of my runs start, because right outside my door. If you haven't seen my running videos before, on my YouTube channel, where you'll find the links on this one. Hello. I have a GoPro camera on a chest harness. I switch it on, press record and run. It has about 2 hours of battery life, so hopefully I get through my run in that time and record anything I want to talk about. I have no particular expertise at running, so I just talk about things that come into my mind, and I don't offer any of this as being fitness advice or advice about how to go about running. So, at the back of the swimming pool at the moment, and they're still working on the aquatic centre, and this is the car park which they're going to pour eventually, but not just yet. These parking bays on the left hand side there are meant to be temporary, because they want to open the pool shortly before they get the concrete laid for the permanent car park. I'm on Deccan Street, going down towards Goulburn High, which due to the lockdown is pretty much a ghost town. Teachers, and I think essential workers, kids, most students doing home learning. I think they're expected to go back to school at the start of next term. We've got 10 days till the start of the school holidays, and then the school holidays, and school goes back on the Tuesday, according to what I saw in a calendar somewhere, of the day after the long weekend. That's a long weekend when cities and towns everywhere have their little festivals, like Lilac Festival here in Goulburn, Jacaranda Festival in Grafton, and so on. I'm sure if they're on at all this year, they'll all be very low-key affairs. as you would expect with the running video. Besides, to see my hands going back and forth, you get to hear heavy breathing, huffing and puffing in between me talking like this, and you can hear the sounds of my feet hitting the pavement. These are now Fitzroy Street, going towards Wallandilly School, Wallandilly Public School. It was to be having its 50th anniversary celebration this month, and of course lockdown has put an end to that. Once I'm past there, he'll be going down towards, we're going down to Marsden Weir, which you'll be familiar with from me talking about it at other times as a starting point for a local park run. A few more kids here at school than I thought there'd be. That's certainly not a full complement, I wouldn't think. I have a plan in mind for this run, a route in mind, should I say. I guess that's a better word for where I want to run. Hopefully I'll get through it all. If you're familiar with my other running videos, you'll have heard me say somewhere I have only 2 rules and 2 things I try and use to guide myself. Number 1, no walking if possible. And whilst I saw something on the running channel on YouTube the other day about that being okay, and I'm not suggesting to anybody it's not, I just want, when I set off on a run, to be able to run a particular course or distance or whatever and say, well, I ran it all. I want a level of fitness to be such that I can do 10k's, 12k's, whatever the distance is. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is no shortcuts. So once I've mapped out the route, the path, the course in my head, sometimes I've gone over it the night before because I run most of these tracks a good few times now, so I know all the little quirks, where the hills are and the dips are and where it's going to be tough going and whatever. And I try to tell myself, well, you know, there's a bit of a hill or rise or whatever you want to call this coming up. Don't take a shortcut and go around it or something, because the whole purpose of the run is to get a certain number of kilometres in your legs, and also so to get a distance, and also to get, I guess, a resilience that says when you come to a hill, you see it and you go, oh, that's steep, and if I can do that, tell yourself you can do it, and just keep going till you get to the top. I don't know how other more experienced runners than I approach these things, but I always try to pick out certain markers. Like if you're doing a park run, you look for the 1k marker, 2k marker, and so on. In our case, the turnaround point, and so on. And you tell yourself, if you're feeling a bit tired, or you're breathing a bit harder than you want it to be, just get to that next marker. Just get to the turnaround point. Okay, you got there, get to the 3K marker, whatever. So, I try to do that kind of thing however I'm running it. Whilst I'm just a bit under 2Ks in at the moment, and I won't keep telling you the distance, but I'm a bit under 2Ks in at the moment, and the issues like fatigue and breathing hard and whatever aren't there yet. It's that first couple of Ks when you've been sitting down, standing still, whatever, doing not much of anything, and then suddenly you're telling your body to work hard. So those first couple of Ks can be as hard as the last couple. Somewhere around 3Ks, I guess, between 2 and 3Ks. In my case anyway, my body gets into the rhythm of it. Those little twinges of muscles that weren't working and they're used to it, and they're working harder and blood flowing strong and all that sort of stuff. And then once you're in the rhythm of it, you feel like you can go on for a good while. Whether you can or not is the question. Okay, so I'm going up onto the Crookwell Rd bridge across the Wanganilly River, which, for those who've seen from some of my other videos, you know that's part of the 4 bridges run. The 4 bridges aren't in my thinking today, but we'll probably cross at least 2 of them. Just read this post on my Facebook before I came out about running. And the guy I don't know how I got it. That's because I look at things to do with running. But he was talking about running and maintaining motivation and those kind of things during lockdown, when you can't always run with your mates, or when the events that you train for, like the park run, are cancelled, and how it's hard sometimes to keep running when you think, what's the point? I can't do the park run or the 10K or whatever it is that's coming up. And there's something in that. I have to say, of course, like most of the others who do it, I look forward to the Saturday park run. And the reason I go out most other days is to train my body for the 5Ks. And he talked about, wrote about some strategies he employs, or he started employing. In the first instance, he starts by leaving a lot of his gadgets at home. He takes his sports watch, just so he's got some idea of what the time is, how long he's been out running and so on. But rather than take his phone music or podcasts or things like that, and doesn't worry so much about recording things to Strava or whatever app like that you use. And his argument for doing that and saying it is that without having to worry about pace or time per kilometre or cadence or any of the other stuff you can measure, you can just get yourself into the groove, if you like, of running. And so you can focus on your breathing, you can focus on your footsteps, not so much the cadence of how many steps per minute, but how your feet are landing too heavily, your heel striking. And then he said, well, you can also concentrate on the surrounding. Our surroundings at the moment are just roads and cars.